It stood the test of time, one of the world's oldest and most famous ships, the latest to power into Brisbane, a contrast of boating history doctored portside as the MV Doulos joins the city's more modern vessels. But this one brings a special crew, 330 volunteers from 50 countries, on a journey of goodwill and education, a floating United Nations. And at the helm, their Australian captain, Ashley McDonald.
The ship is old, but the people on board are generally very young. And so there's a lot of energy on board the ship, and people always marvel at the age of the ship, and as they walk around, they also marvel at the energy and enthusiasm of the crew.
Ashley left his job as harbour master at Fremantle 2 years ago to steer the Doulos through 40 of its 105-country 30-year journey. His family, including his 3 young daughters, have been with him on board the whole way.
They have 300 big brothers and sisters they love hanging out with, so it's like a really small village community. Everyone, there's a lot of trust here, and so the kids have a very safe environment. First time back in Australia, it's absolutely fantastic. I was so proud to bring the ship to my own country.
It'll be the last time the Doulos visits Australia. It'll be decommissioned in 2010. Built in 1914, it's only a few years younger than the Titanic and mixes its original engineering with a few of the mod cons. All right, Ashley, well, the boat's got a lot of new technology hidden away, but also some of the old charm, for instance, these lifeboats.
Absolutely, these open lifeboats, you won't see many of these around anymore, Andrew. And we drill with these every week, so the crew are quite proficient in putting them down, raising them up.
The crew, most on 2-year programs, started their epic journey as seafaring novices.
I started off as a deckhand, like wire brushing and painting and scrubbing the decks and doing gangway watches. And then I've been a fireman for 10 months, being responsible for the firefighting equipment on board.
If any of the 330-odd crew ever looking for a quiet place to hang out, this is where they do so. In the world's largest floating library, it has over 6,000 titles. And when the Doulos is docked, that library is transformed into a bookshop. It's where the funds are raised to continue their humanitarian efforts and where the world is brought closer together.
And we were just really astonished to learn that, in most of the remote parts of Africa, you can't buy a book in a shop. You might be able to buy a photocopy of a book, but books are just rare.
To just be able to go to the poorest slums, areas that most people will never get to see or never even believe it will be reality.
I hope to write a book actually, to tell people about what I've seen around the world, just to encourage them that as people we can do our part and serve the community.
Singaporean Jai Min Cho has spent close to 4 years aboard. She's visited 31 countries, including a civil war-ravaged Sudan. There she helped build a school and stocked it with books.
For the first time in my life, I lifted a brick, and it was so heavy, I could only lift half of it. And so I felt like, wow, I have never done physical labor like this, but it was really fun.
The Doulos will spend 3 weeks here. It's open to the public for a gold coin donation. And in this time of rising fuel costs, generosity of another kind is welcomed to run the 8,100 horsepower, symbol of knowledge and hope.
We've got a 44-gallon drum on the deck. If anyone wants to give towards our fuel fund, they can do that in the drum there.
Then it's on to Sydney and East Timor, and along the way some crew will disembark for the final time.
In Singapore there are so many tall buildings, you never see the full sky. But out at sea where there is no land and no nearby ships, it is so beautiful.